DTI fan, what's good, baby? Another week that you're tuning in to the Daily Drive-By. New Year, so I'm going to say real quick, daily drive-bys are just the thoughts that I have as I'm driving around town. I'm on the road a lot because I do sales for work, and so I just let out what's on my mind. Some of the things I need to hear, some of the things that I think you need to hear. And so I spit facts and truths on here about just day-to-day life. Desire to inspire is all around building healthy habits in your lifestyle so that way you can reach and achieve the goals that you have in life. And so I'm just here to hopefully help the ecosystem of people that are stuck, people that aren't happy at the person that they're looking in the mirror, people that feel anxious and depressed, that just don't know what's going on in their life right now and want change, and they want to be the change. And I'm here to help motivate you to go after that and to see it and to realize that your potential is endless. Because back in the day, I used to struggle a lot. Got to my darkest place in Texas, and I figured out what got me out of the hole. And so I want to educate you on what worked for me. And if it works for you, great. We got a lot of people in the Inspired community that are going after big goals in 2026. And so we're building an ecosystem of just driven individuals, both mentally, physically, and even professionally in their life, to live that healthier, happier lifestyle. And so one of the things that I got to start off with is that find somebody in your life that you like talking to, that you enjoy going to for advice and guidance, and just having conversations with, and make it a routine to get coffee with them on a weekly basis when it works out with your schedule. I go and get coffee weekly with my best friend, Mr. Antonio Melendez, every Thursday, and we just bullshit about life, catch up, what's going on, both in our personal lives and our work lives and stuff like that. And it's just refreshing, it's rejuvenating, because outside of that, I don't connect with people like in person too often, other than like my work and stuff like that. So connecting with somebody that I care about a lot and that I cherish the relationship feels good just to start the day that way. That's why the totes are in the back seat right now, because he just gave me those. But as we're having conversations, I just think about like having gratitude in life and appreciating what's going on. Because when we talk on a deep level, we talk on a funny level, we talk on a motivational level. Like, we talk about all these things. And I don't think that there is enough genuine conversation out there that happens with people in our lives. It's majority of the time just surface level conversations. And so going into this 2026 season and year, have somebody in your corner that you can go to and that you can go after. But not only that, like I said, there's a lot of people in the Inspired community that are going after dreams, goals, aspirations of theirs, both professionally, spiritually, mentally, physically. And we got a lot of people taking on big feats in their life. Dylan doing the 100-miler. We got two other people in the Inspired community, that are going after their first half marathon, setting big goals for those. We got a handful of people doing the 75 hard to start the year, or the DTI 50. And then we got somebody else that's trying to lose 60 to 70 pounds, somebody else that's trying to lose 100 to 120 pounds. Like, we're all over the spectrum in terms of goals that people are going after. But whether your goal is big or small, just stick to it. The traction and habits that you have in place and the things that you do on a daily basis literally fuel if that is going to come true or not come true. Something I always say is that your habits show where you are versus where you want to be in life. And it's the foundation that matters that you have to build first before you can see any change in direction, any change in your life that is going towards that big picture that we paint. I talk about it as well, painting that big picture, stepping back, seeing what you can do on a daily basis in order to make that big picture come to life. Knowing that goals and dreams and aspirations are going to change and pivot, but what can you do consistently on a daily basis to make life stop taking you on the roller coaster of this wave, and for you to manage that where the wave is riding you instead of the other way around. And so as I sit here and look at the things that we're working on in DTI in 2026, I've come to the realization that, like, when you are going after something, it's easy to be like, oh, this is what we can do as well. 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 Where you end up, what's up, Pops? Where you end up doing a lot in a bunch of areas instead of a lot in specific areas. And so what I'm referring to is the podcast that we have been releasing, 182 episodes in. We're here, we're sticking around, we're not giving up on it. And I look at it and I'm like, man, for those 182 episodes, like, why isn't the traction more? Why isn't the reach more? Why isn't the analytics better? Why isn't this? And not to the sense where I get like discouraged or down, but because I know the message that we're preaching and the things that we're sharing, I know that it's impacting people's lives because I see it firsthand with the people that are in the inspired community. And so for me, it's more of like a hunger thing of like, how do I reach more people outside of the community? How do I reach more people to think differently, to act differently, to take control back over their life because of the things that they've implemented in it? And so when I think of the podcast growth, I'm not disappointed at all. First episode of season 3, 60 views within like 3 days, 4 days, something like that. Like, dude, I will take that. But then my thought is like, how do I double that? How do I triple that? How do I quadruple that? Because I know what we're saying can help the average, common, everyday person go after their dreams, goals, and ambitions, to like the person that they're seeing in the mirror, to be motivated, to impact those around them. We all want more in life. Every single one of us wants more. But it's just like, what does that more look like for you? What does that more look like in your life and the impact that you want to leave? It may be subtle and from the backside, and people just see what you're doing. They see how you move. They see how you're working, and they like it and they appreciate it. Where other people, they want to be vocal. They want to post on social media. They want to share their message. They want to share their truth. They want to share what worked for them to help others. And so that's where I look at, like, we do a lot in a lot of different areas. But like, what if we did a lot in specific areas for this brand, for this mission? Would we see traction? Would we see growth at a different level? And so right now I'm just analyzing the things that we're doing. We ain't stopping nothing. We ain't letting off the gas. We ain't letting off the brakes. But it's like, how do we hone in on this more? What can we do? Where can we give it more attention? I talk about watching film at the end of the season. Watching film is like what athletes do when their season's over. They get in the weight room, they watch film, they perfect their craft, they practice, they do all these things. That's what we do when the season ends. And when season 3 started for the podcast this year, we did that. Our sound quality's better, our main camera angle's better, we're figuring out the side angles to make those better. So that way that the message that we're saying not only visually gives people the appeal, because I think they said 42% of people, when they listen to podcasts now, they're watching it instead of just having it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And so how do we enhance the vision? How do we enhance the audio? How do we make it look more of a production versus just putting it up because of how long we're doing it? In the beginning, you just got to fucking start. And you got to go after it, and you got to figure out what works, what doesn't work, and then you can build and grow upon that. But the first thing you got to do is start. And then once you start, that's when you can start perfecting things. Because in the beginning, we thought it was perfect. All right, this and this, but we knew we wanted more. And then this, we wanted more. And so what I mean by like expanding the reach and all that stuff is like, how do we do our clips better? How do we do our edits better? How do we do the titles better? How do we do the thumbnails better? How do we do the description better? How do we show people we're the same as Impulsive? We're the same as Diary of a CEO. We're the same as The Skinny Confidential. We're the same as all these big podcasts, Mel Robbins' podcast, Wallow and Gilly's podcast, like any podcast out there. How do we show them that we're like that, but we don't got the big name behind us yet? Notice how I said yet, because we will one day. Traction is picking up, it's building, and I see that. And so that's what's motivating me to be like, I want more. I like this, I want this. Our message is being heard. People's lives are being impacted. And so that's what I mean when I'm like, maybe it's good to not do a lot in a bunch of different areas and to do a lot in specific areas. And so I'm diving in and I'm perfecting the craft that I've practiced for so long with Dylan to be able to be more. I see Dylan doing this 100-miler prep, and in my brain, I'm like, dude, how is that even possible? But the reason it's possible is because Dylan started running 10, 12, 15 years ago. Dylan hit a point in his life where he was a chubby motherfucker. And then he sat back one day and he was like, I'm going to lace up the shoes. I'm going to do this race. I'm going to do this. What triggered and what changed that, that's his story, and that's what he tells. So I won't spoil it on here. Go and watch his content. But he started 10, 12, 15 years ago by lacing up his shoes and getting after it. Next thing you know, that passion rose. The energy got bigger. The mindset got clearer. The weight fell off. He started seeing life in a different perspective. That's what's happened. That's what happens when you build a foundation that you can build and grow upon. He started small to get to this point that he's at now. And now people see him and they're like, how the fuck are you doing 100 miles? I ask him that question all the time because it doesn't make sense to me. But then I take Dylan, who I look at and I idolize and I respect, and I'm like, oh shit. Well, I was telling Dylan 3 years ago that I wasn't going to go out and run 3 miles. Next thing you know, I was running 3 miles with him. Then I was running 5. Then all of a sudden I did a half marathon. And then last year I did a full marathon. And you can go back in the content and I talk about how I'm never doing a fucking full marathon, and I ended up doing it. And so this is what I'm saying, is that there is a foundation that is built when there's intention behind it. If you don't have a foundation, imagine building a house on just straight dirt. It's like, all right, I want to build a house right now. I'm going to start. And you build that house and you take the 2x4 and you right into the dirt. And you start building it. You know, it might stand, but eventually it's going to get too much weight on it. It's going to lean, it's going to fall, or it's just going to crumble because it doesn't have something keeping it in place. But they put the cement pad on the foundation on the ground that secures it. It anchors it. It's like roots in a tree. You don't see a fucking 60-foot tree, a 40-foot tree being built right away. It doesn't just go there, stick in the ground. No, over time it builds, it grows, it develops into what it is because it plants roots into the ground. So that way when it grows up, it can be secure and it won't fall over. Same thing for a house. You build that foundation. Now you put in those screws or nails or whatever it is, Tone will correct me, into that foundation, that cement, and now it's anchored. It's like, I ain't going nowhere. I'm standing for 50 years plus. Don't worry about me. I'm good. That's how we have to think of our life, is building the foundation that we can then anchor things into. Because unfortunately, we don't got roots to stay in place, which is the greatest thing. But the roots that we have to keep in place are in here and in here. And when you can appreciate those, and when you can build those, grow those, develop those, you'll realize that life starts changing. You'll realize that you'll see the change that you want. You'll realize that things start happening for you instead of to you, because you're being intentional with the things that you're doing. And so as we kick off this year, and as the first month's here, and we're finding new grooves and routines, ask yourself, is the things that you're doing actually something that you want to do long term? Is it going towards those goals, dreams, ambitions? If it's not, then why are you doing it? Because somebody else is doing it and it sounded good for your life? Do the things, that you want to do that go towards what you want in life and what you want to get out of it. And watch how things actually start changing, because you do it for yourself instead of those around you. You do it for yourself instead of thinking it sounds good. You do it for yourself instead of trying to paint this narrative or this perspective to the outside world that realistically doesn't give a fuck. And so the only person that needs to give a fuck is you about your life and what you're doing and the things that you're going after. Because if you have passion and a drive and a why behind it, it will never fail. It will only succeed as you hone in and perfect your craft. Hopefully that hit. It makes sense to me. I fucking love it, because there is nothing more important than building that foundation in your life to see your dreams, goals, aspirations flourish, prosper, whatever word you want to use. But you have to get started, and you have to get started in the right areas with the right mindset. Find your purpose, find your why, go after those things that you want to in life, live your dream life and your truth, and realize that anything you want to do is possible. You just have to give it the time and attention it deserves in order to see that then go from here to up here. That's all I got for y'all. Have a great day. I love you. Have the desire to inspire. And as always, be happy. Life's too short. It's on.